On this video of English Win, we're going to look into intonation, a key aspect of English pronunciation. Intonation is a very important part of fluent English speaking. Let me explain. Intonation is how the pitch or notes in a sentence can go up and they can go down. Listen to my voice. They can go up and they can go down. Intonation moves you beyond simply being understood and moves you into the area where you can finally be persuasive with English. And persuasive means that when you talk, people are likely to agree with what you say. This is what we want. If you're going to win at English, you want to get people on your side, agreeing with you, saying yes, making deals. And that's what we're going to learn today. Intonation is important because with perfect intonation, it is very easy for English speakers to understand you. But if you don't have intonation, you might fail to be understood even if you say all the correct sounds. A lot of people I've met are nervous around dogs. I don't know what it is about them, just they don't like dogs. Now, what do dogs have to do with intonation? Well, dogs are very easy to get along with most of the time because they communicate through intonation. You could say very mean and nasty things to a dog with nice intonation and they will respond positively. Look at you, you stupid dog. Oh, you're so ugly, only a mother could love you, right? Yeah, look at you. You can also say nice things to a dog, but with a mean intonation, like this. Hey, good dog. You're a good dog, and any human would be proud to have you as a pet. If you talk like that to a dog, they will be scared, even though you're saying very good things to them. Intonation makes a big difference, and you will see that this is the same with people. So how do you use intonation correctly? The best way to learn intonation is to listen very closely to the way native English speakers talk and then copy them. It might be beneficial, it might be useful to record, maybe on an iPhone or Samsung Galaxy, any smartphone, how you talk, and then compare what you say and how you say it with the recording of a native English speaker. Also, by listening to stories and statements, you will get better at intonation. When you think of a sentence from now on, I want you to think of a staff of music. Yeah, that's sheet music, how the notes go up and they go down. Or, this might be even better for you, think of it as the price of a stock. So when you look at the stock market and you look at one stock like Apple or GM, the stock can go up and the price can go down over time. And there's reasons for each time the stock goes up and there's reasons they go down. Do we know all those reasons? Not always, but we do know with intonation. And so now when you think of a sentence, I want you to think of the pitch of your voice going up and going down with each different thing that you say. Soon you will feel what's right and what isn't, but the only way to feel what's right and what isn't is to practice and repeat a lot. But believe me, it does get easy and you start to feel it very quickly. So what are these turns? What causes the pitch to go up and down, up and down? Well, I've identified at least 6 that we can go over in small detail here in this video. Number 1, lists. I want you to listen very closely to how I talk about this. First, I get my toothbrush out of the toothbrush holder. Second, I pop the cap off of my toothpaste. Third, I place the toothpaste on my toothbrush. And last, I brush my teeth. So I just described brushing my teeth, and I used lists in order to do it. So listen to my sentence structure. First, I did this. Second, I did that. Third, I did that. And last, I did that. So lists are a great way to start using intonation on a regular basis and already start sounding like a natural. Let's go to the next one. Number 2, endings. So endings can be done with sentences, questions, ends of essays. Let me tell you a story. When I was young, I went to church. And so I wasn't a very good church boy. I would often fall asleep in the middle of the sermons. And so the pastor would talk and talk and talk. It was a hot day and I would start. So I'd keep getting tired. And my mom, she would hit me in the back of the head, tell me to stay awake. And if I sat too far in the front so my mom couldn't reach me, she would have somebody in the front row hit me in the back of the head. So eventually, I developed the skill for learning how to look like I'm awake, but actually be sleeping during sermons. And how I got away with it was when the pastor would end his sermon, he would always end it the same way. And so, we need to be closer to Jesus. Let us pray. And so when I heard that, let us pray, the intonation was so low that I knew he was done with his sermon. And so I could be awake and look like I had been paying attention the whole time. And sometimes I would get away with it. When you end a phrase or speech, listen. And so it comes to the end. That tells other people that you're done and that they can respond to whatever it is you've said. Last ending I want to go over is questions. How do we know when we're better at intonation? So you notice how when I ask the question, how do you know whether or not you're good at intonation? When you end on a higher intonation, that lets other people know it's a question. So let's give an example here. You closed the door. That's just a sentence. So I'm just telling somebody what they did. But if I say, you closed the door, then an English speaker will think I'm asking them, did you close the door? And they will respond, yes, I did. No, I didn't. I left it open. Let's go to the third turn, adverbs. So adverbs are pretty simple. For instance, the boss signs the document quickly. So how do you use intonation properly? You think of the part of the sentence you want people to focus on, and then you use the higher intonation for that area of focus. So when I said the boss signed the document quickly, we're emphasizing quickly. That's what we want people to focus on, and that's why the intonation went up in that one area. Let's go to the next one. Extra punctuations. This is usually for reading. We won't deal with it very much in everyday speech. Think about it this way. If you're reading a book and they say, it's nothing, he said. So, listen, it's nothing, he said. With he said, you are reporting what someone else is saying. So when you are reading, especially a fiction story, like a novel, you can get used to all these different types of intonations. I can go into more reading-specific intonations later. Let's go to number 5. Number 5 is prepositions. You use prepositions the same way you use adverbs. When you want people to focus in on a specific part of the sentence, then you use a preposition. So, the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy brown dog. We wanted people to focus on over in that sentence. So that's why we said the brown fox jumped over the lazy brown dog. You can use prepositions to modify your intonation and make sure people understand what's really important in a sentence. Let's go to the final one for this video. Superlatives. Have you ever talked to a child about the most fun they've ever had, or the best day of their life, or the worst food they've ever eaten? Well, these are superlatives. Best, worst, fastest, slowest, most, least. These are all superlatives, and with intonation, usually we go higher on the superlatives. It was the most fun I've ever had. Or, that was the worst pizza I've ever eaten. All right? So that concludes my first video on intonation. We should get into some more practice and some more sentence examples in the near future. I hope this video was helpful for you. If it is, and if it was, please subscribe down below. Hit the like button. If you have friends or classmates that also study English, I invite you to share this video with them. That way they can get better at intonation as well, and we can all win at English together. Have a great day.